commonly get while skating. First, let's talk about the R-Fit footbed itself. It's a high-density foam with a soft top cover on it. It allows for a lot more cushion and support for a safer and more effective skating session. On the back side, there's Velcro components that allow you to attach adjustable arch supports and
Hello everyone out there in internet land. How are you? You're joining us here for the Gatekeepers and Puget Sound here at Brouhaha 2015. I am Star Spangled Hammer. Alongside me is October Revolution, and we're going to be bringing you all the action here today between the number 2 ranked Gatekeepers and number 5 Puget Sound.
Welcome here to Derby Laces track number 1. Looks like we're getting ready to get started. Perhaps we should go quickly through rosters. Oh.
So we're actually going to get started right away. So Magnum PIMP out there jamming for the Gatekeepers. And that is, I believe, Scott Slamilton, yes, for Puget Sound to start this game off. So Magnum is out first, but he is not out clean, so he is not your lead. And now, way late, they're calling the track cut on Magnum PIMP. So it's going to be a power jam here to start already for Puget Sound.
Puget Sound blockers getting in position as their jammer approaches the path.
So nice work there by the Saint as he forces Scott Slamilton to the outside, cycles him back.
That was the end of the Sakatumi power jam. Magnum is back in the pack. He gets through, clears, finishes initial pass. Puget Sound gets the first points on the board. That's 5 points. It's a right out skates grand slam. That power jam to start gives some momentum to Puget Sound to begin this game, but it's only been like a minute and a half so far, so there's plenty of time for me to say there's plenty of time left in this game.
So next up, it's going to be, I believe that's number 35? 55, sorry, that is 55. Corporal Punishment jamming for Puget Sound. Meanwhile, Shane Bauer for the Gatekeeper is going to be your lead jammer.
That means we're 1 lead apiece so far for these teams.
Hard block there by number 8. That's Ryrod for Puget Sound. But not enough to keep in.
Shane Bauer through for a 5-point Rydell grand slam.
Corporal Punishment still not through the pack. Looks to have the helmet cover in his hand. He's put it back on his head now.
So good defense put up right now, anchored by Spin Diesel, Monster Jam, and Wrecking Bill as they're doing a number on Corporal Punishment. Meanwhile, Shane Bauer continuing to score points. Star pass has been made to Quadzilla. And Quadzilla has completed the initial pass for Puget. And now Shane Bauer playing some defense here, trying to slow Quadzilla into the pack. He's going to call that jam off. Another 5-point Rydell grand slam there for Shane Bauer.
That was 10 points for Shane Bauer and the Gatekeepers in that jam. They were able to keep the Puget Sound jammer bottled up for most of it and get some points on the board before being forced to call it off by the star passing Quadzilla. Score right now with only 4 minutes elapsed is 10 for the Gatekeepers and 5 for Puget.
Yep, Scott Slamilton out there now for Puget Sound, and he's going up against Corey Porter for St. Louis. Corey Porter in the game yesterday against Twin Cities had 76 points for the Gatekeepers. He's going to be lead jammer here.
That's 2 in a row now.
Scott Slamilton being cycled all the way to the back by Percy Control.
Real strong front wall here by Puget. They've been able to at least slow down Corey Porter these last 2 passes. He has picked up 5 points, but not as quickly as he would have liked.
Puget Sound with good, strong walls, as October mentioned. And now Corey Porter does get free for another 5 points. And we do have a power jam, a Sakatumi power jam is a high block called on Scott Slamilton. So now Corey Porter going to work as the sole jammer. He's going to call that jam off after he was knocked out of play by, I believe that was Dylan Botts.
Calling that jam off when he did gives the Gatekeepers some time to get lead again in this jam if they want. They're starting on a Sakatumi power jam. If they can pull that off, they would have control of 2 jams in a row then.
Screech around taking the Notorious RED jammer line solo on this Sakatumi power jam. He led all scoring for the Gatekeepers in their game yesterday with 111 points. Quadzilla anchoring the defensive wall along with Ryrod and Thunderstruck. Screech around gets around the outside. He's going to be your lead jammer.
Real dancing on the line there. He was able to stay in balance. Not quite sure how he was, but he was. There it is again. That time, though, he picked up 4 of the 5 points. There must have been a no pass, no penalty at the front there.
Yeah, it looked like a penalty called on the foremost blocker, so Screech does not get credit for passing him. And it looks like we're going to have an official review here early. Puget Sound calling an official review. As soon as we know what that official review is about, we'll get that information to you.
Jammer Line has been brought to you by Notorious RED. Notorious by Notorious RED. Smell clean even if you play dirty. You can get it here at Brouhaha at the Derby for All booth, or you can order online at notoriousred.com. Keep your pads clean, keep everything clean.
Just some quick information on how these 2 teams fared yesterday. The Gatekeepers playing Twin Cities yesterday. They beat TC by a score of 443 to 73. They only had 4 jammer penalties. We've already got 1 here today on Magnum PIMP on the very first jam. They were lead jammer 82.9% of the time and were averaging 12.7 points a jam. So very impressive click there by the Gatekeepers. Puget Sound, they lost to Dallas, the Texas team. They're 4-1. Winning by an average of 278 points. As I said, they lost to Texas yesterday. Averaged about 2.8 points per jam, but the big one was they had 13 penalties on their jammers. So they are going to absolutely have to clean that up if they want to expect to hang with Gatekeepers this afternoon.
That's 6.5 minutes of game time where you cannot score a point.
That is huge, and they're going to have to clean that up.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think that, games can be won and lost in penalties, blocker penalties as well as jammer penalties. I mean, when you're sitting in the penalty box, you're just a point. You only have to pass 1 player in order to score. So.
Well, and you also have to wonder, I mean, they only lost by 70, 80 points. That could have been made up if you don't have those jammer penalties.
Absolutely.
I mean, 13 penalties, that's a lot of jammer penalties.
You can score if you look at 6.5 minutes of gameplay, 70 points in 6.5 minutes of gameplay is not a whole lot of. No, that's not a huge feat. You see it pretty often in Derby. So, you know, to give up all of that scoring opportunity, not including the point you're being by sitting in the box, that will definitely affect the outcome of your game.
So the referee's still conferring about the official review. Honestly, I didn't really see anything going on in that jam that would have merited a review, so I'm really interested to find out what this review's about.
Yes, and for those of you who don't know, each team gets an official review per half. If it is awarded to them, if they were correct in what they asked to review, they get to keep it. If not, they lose their official review. And how it works is the teams bring their concern, the refs powwow, talk about it, decide, and then they deliver their verdict to all the captains. So as soon as the announcer ref has a moment, they'll come up here and let us know the outcome of that review.
So we are back underway, and it's Magnum PIMP. And they're going to call Magnum for a blocking with the head, and also he lost the jammer penalty. He lost the jammer panty, and now Jensen's going to get sent off for removing the panty from the track. That is an illegal procedure. He's not allowed to touch it.
And the only person who can touch that jammer panty is your own team's pivot and you as the jammer. So you can't pick the panty up and move from the track, even if you think it might be a hazard.
So interesting turn of events here. Magnum has jammed twice. He's had 2 jammer penalties. Quite the auspicious beginning to the game here for the Gatekeepers.
That official review that had that extended timeout, that was for blue wanted a cut called on the white jammer. If you remember up in the front when that blocker had the penalty called on them and the jammer came in front of him, the outcome of the review was that blocker had committed a penalty, so it was not a cut, and the original call was upheld, and white loses their official review for this half.
Well, an interesting turn of events as well is actually that play by Jensen throwing the panty out actually helped Magnum PIMP, because then Puget Sound couldn't defend the panty when he returned the play. He was able to skate out of bounds, grab it, and then skate back in. So a multitude of errors there.
Yeah, absolutely. Leaving the panty on the track, I mean, that's a big mistake. It does allow the other team.
And then while we were talking about that, we had an illegal star pass as the star was thrown to the pivot. So now we've got a Sakatumi power jam for Magnum PIMP. Magnum PIMP trying to call the jam off, forgetting that for a moment there that he does not lead. Gives a thumbs up to the refs after he realizes it. But that jam comes to its natural conclusion. So a very interesting start here. We've had a whole lot of very strange things happen here. I don't know why I'm surprised by this. Every time these two teams get together, it's interesting to say the least.
The last jam was a tutorial in jammer cover, helmet cover etiquette. You cannot pick the helmet cover up off the track, and you also can't throw it during a star pass. So both the teams have learned that. You know, Puget Sound has learned that in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, the forward pass has not become a legal part of Derby yet. You know, like football, it took time. Took time for that to become legal. I don't know if we'll ever see that phase here in Derby, but forward pass definitely illegal.
But like you were saying during that, we're in a timeout round, an official timeout, and like you were saying during that jam, you know, having that jammer helmet cover on the track is actually beneficial for a team because they can stand around it and block it, and there's nothing the other team can do other than try and move those players out of the way. So, having it removed from the track, not only did it get them a penalty to put one of their blockers in the box, but also it lost that opportunity to be able to keep the Gatekeepers from scoring.
Yep.
We don't have a she's not here right now. Okay.
The call was overturned because it was called incorrectly. What should have happened is the throw is okay, pivot can't put it on.
That's correct.
Okay, so it was the jammer.
Oh, okay, so we had some clarification. The throwing was okay because the pivot did not put the panty back on. He gave it back to the jammer, so the jammer penalty was overturned. So the Puget Sound will field a jammer here, and it's going to be Hollywood Chuck Hendrick against Shane Bauer. Not too surprised here to see Hendrick jamming, as they likely saw yesterday that the Gatekeepers did have some issues with the bigger jammers of TC Terrors.
That is Shane Bauer, his lead jammer right now. He grabs all 5 points before calling off the jam. We're at about 5 minutes into this half. Score right now is 5 for Puget Sound, 44 for the Gatekeepers. Puget has not had a lead jammer since Jam 1.
It's a nice little run here by the Gatekeepers. We'll see if Corey Porter can keep it going. Scott Slamilton forced out to the outside by the Saint and Quotable Hulk. Corey Porter forced down, but he does stay in bounds.
There was a forearm called on Quadzilla. He held his arms up, kind of locked him when he was blocking there. It caused the forearm when the jammer fell.
Corey Porter is your lead jammer now, so St. Louis continues their string.
A lot of action up in the front of the pack. There is a cut called on Little Timmy from Puget Sound.
So Corey Porter forced out there going into turn 3, and he's going to settle for the 5 and call that jam off.
So far we've had a pretty hard-hitting and interesting game. A lot of penalties for this early in the game. Nobody is in penalty trouble yet, which is good.
Yeah, already 7 penalties for Puget Sound. Looks like 6 for St. Louis. Chuck Hendrick with a little bit of physicality right off the bat.
Real strung out pack here. Gives some room for Screech Around to pick up some speed. Picks up lead jammer.
Screech Around looking to the referee for a blocking to the head. A high block call as he lost his glasses there. Meanwhile, he picks up lead jammer and 5 points on his first scoring pass. Oh, nice work on the inside. He found a small crease. 5 more points for Screech Around. Meanwhile, Quadzilla trying to work his way up front.
Oh, big hit up in the front. That causes Screech Around to call off the jam. You know, you can really see this communication between the jammers and the blockers on the Gatekeepers. Screech Around clearly likes to have a little bit of a running start at the pack, so they were able to kind of string those packs out to give him the ability to do that. And when he does do that, he's kind of able to run the inside line and pick up those points.
So we're going to see handrail now for the first time here against Puget Sound. He had a nice game yesterday. He put up 111 points against Twin Cities. Smaller jammer with some nice nifty moves, and here we see Hendrick again.
Puget Sound's jammer is in the penalty box for a cut penalty.
So handrail, does he call it off in time? 2 points there for St. Louis, no points for Puget Sound, so a well-timed call off there by handrail. It'll be interesting to see with the breaking of Screech Around's glasses if he returns to the jammer rotation. I'm not quite sure just how much he really needs those while playing. Scott Slamilton will take the line for Puget against Magnum PIMP. Here on Skate Laces Track 1, Brouhaha 2015. Both teams with some really solid physical walls.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you're really seeing some solid blocking. These jammers have been slow. I mean, yes, the Gatekeepers are up by a large margin, but they haven't had any huge jams so far this time. The Puget Sound has been able to slow down their jammers.
There is lead jammer for Puget Sound, so that breaks the Gatekeepers streak. So 4 points there for Scott Slamilton. Track cut call on Magnum PIMP. Magnum PIMP off to a very rough start. And now I think we're going to see a forearm call on Scott Slamilton as he kind of reached around and grabbed on to the Gatekeepers player there.
So we were talking about earlier with these jammer penalties, you know, it keeps the teams from scoring, but also, you know, if you have the benefit of a power jam and you aren't able to capitalize on it because your jammer goes to the box, it's really a missed opportunity.
So Magnum PIMP has taken the star off his head. I don't think we're actually going to see a pass, but it seems to be the in thing to do these days. And now he's being sent off for a forearm, it looks like. Magnum PIMP. Sorry, no.
It's a high block.
A high block called on Magnum PIMP now.
So Puget Sound's going to get another run at a power jam here. They're going to send out corporal punishment to do it. You know, I think they're hoping to try and close this gap a little bit. It's 53-point differential at the moment.
So now we're going to have an official review by St. Louis. I got a feeling it's going to be about that forearm call or that high block call on Magnum PIMP.
And we won't know for another couple of minutes here, probably. The refs are all in, the captains are all in, and there's a conversation about it. This track is sponsored by Derby Laces. Say goodbye to untied skate laces. Derby Laces stay tied tight and where you want them. You can get yours at derbylaces.com. They also have Spark Metallic skate laces. They're super strong and super shiny. You know, this bout is a lot closer on the track than it is in the score, especially considering that, you know, both teams seem to be very defense heavy and also, you know, having problems with jammer penalties.
Well, and you know, and as we have all seen, all of you watching out there in internet land, you know the game and you know how quickly the tide can change. And I mean, we're just past the first half of the first half. So still so much time here and anything could happen. So it looks to me like the official review is going to be upheld as Magnum PIMP still sits in the penalty box, and the Seattle Jammer, I believe that's corporal punishment, will start all alone. 4-on-3 pack advantage in favor of Puget as well, and Shane Bauer out there blocking. I have to think that the plan is with him as the pivot, that as soon as Magnum returns the play, he's going to hand that panty off.
Corporal punishment fighting hard against this St. Louis defense. Still held in his initial pass. He just gets through. He's the lead jammer.
So the Sakatumi Power Jam comes to an end, and Magnum PIMP is returned to play. And it looks like I was wrong as he just shoots right out and through the pack.
That official review, for those of you still waiting to hear, it was the Gatekeepers were looking for a call to be called on the blue jammer, but the ref staff determined that the blue jammer entered legally and they no longer retain their official review. This is the first time Puget has gotten lead 2 times in a row this game. They were able to score a point.
Looks like Percy Control was called for a late hit there at the end of that jam, a misconduct.
So we're going to have a
Official review
official timeout right now.
was White was looking for a cut on the blue, but he entered the track initially.
So the refs are having a conversation. The teams seem to be having a conversation.
Yeah, I guarantee at least what the Gatekeepers are doing right now is they're probably just trying to calm each other down a little bit. Things are getting a little wild out there. These two squads not really playing their games right now, so they're going to try to regroup and take advantage of this referee powwow.
Yeah, you know, I think both teams would benefit from being able to stay calm, stay together, and manage their penalties.
And it looks like the referees conferred and decided that there was not a penalty there on Percy control, so he skated back over to his bench. So full complement of blockers out there for the Gatekeepers here to start this jam, and it's going to be Quadzilla on the notorious RED jammer line against Corey Porter.
Corey Porter is just off your screen.
Yeah. Don't
He's
let
there.
the internet fool you. There is a there he
There
is.
he is. Corey Porter takes the inside line. Quadzilla starts to go up the middle.
So a scrum start here, very tight pack as each jammer is trying to work their way through. Quadzilla looks like he might have a little bit of daylight, just Monster Jam to beat. But Corey Porter gets through first, and now the cycling of the Gatekeepers, and I think we're going to get a track cut there
Yeah, he
on
touched his back
Quadzilla.
wheels.
And Corey Porter calls that jam off. I don't think he realized that Quadzilla was being sent off.
No, I don't think he did either. He called the jam off thinking Quadzilla was right behind him, but he
Yep.
was headed to the penalty box. He touched on just his back wheel when
That's
he
all
was
it
coming
takes.
back in, and that's all it takes. So that overturned penalty that we just saw in that official timeout, that was because the penalty was initiated before the end of the jam, but completed after the whistles.
It would appear that Screech Around has had some engineering done and has glasses again.
I wear glasses, I understand. I don't think I could jam without them.
And Screech Around is going to be your lead jammer, and we got some debris on the track. Looks like a kneecap for Ryrod there, his knee pads.
Screech around, tries to take a hop, doesn't quite make it, recycled to the back of the pack. Gets knocked to the infield, decides to call off the jam rather than try and race back. He picked up 3 points on that jam.
This action is hard hitting. Not in Minnesota on the other track, still kind of a close game out there. Only about 4 points.
So we've seen a virtually scoreless game the last few minutes.
Yeah. With the flurry of action we saw in the first 5 to 10 minutes, this last 5 to 10 has been pretty quiet score-wise. Handrail back out there for St. Louis, and that is Scott Slamilton for Puget Sound. Oh, Scott Slamilton finds a seam. He's still got to get past Monster Jam, though. He does get by. He's going to be your lead jammer, Puget Sound. However, Handrail hot on his tail. He's going to have a hard time catching Scott Slamilton, however.
That is a race for the pack.
And it looks like they're going to give Handrail a low block call. So now a power jam, a Sakatumi power jam for Puget. Jam called off.
Seems to be a little bit of confusion. I don't know if you just tuned in at home, you don't know, but there is 2 tracks in this building and there's only a curtain separating them. So every once in a while you'll see a little bit of confusion for the referees and the players on the whistles because you can't hear exactly who's whistling on what track.
So yesterday against Twin Cities, the Gatekeepers had 4 jammer penalties. So far today, Magnum PIMP alone has 4 jammer penalties for St. Louis. And we're not even through the first half. So a rough start here for the jammer squad of St. Louis against Puget Sound.
You know, I'm not 100% sure, but it certainly feels like when you're watching the game that there are more jams with one or another jammer sitting in the box than there are jams with two jammers skating against each other. So that has been the story of this first half so far, is these jammer penalties, these official timeouts trying to figure everything out. You know, it certainly hasn't been a clean bout so far.
So it looks like after conferring, a low block was assessed to, I believe that's Jensen sitting in the penalty box. I think that's the player that Handrail ran into that they ended up giving him a low block call on. But Quadzilla trying to fight his way through. He is on a Sakatumi power jam. He is going to be your lead jammer. Meanwhile, Saint being sent off.
Pack is very small right now. Quadzilla gets right through, picks up 5 points. What that official timeout was about was it was determined that the white jammer and the blue pivot low blocked each other.
Okay.
So they both got a low block. One knocked on the other. They stood up, knocked on the other.
Alrighty then. Sakatumi power jam comes to an end. Handrail is returned to play. Completes his initial pass. Meanwhile, Spin Diesel, Percy Control, and Incredible Hulk go to work on Quadzilla.
Quadzilla picks up 4 more points. That is a 14-point jam for Quadzilla.
So 34 points now, all that separates these two squads as Puget Sound starting to claw their way back into this game. And it's going to be Shane Bauer on the notorious RED jammer line going up against Scott Slamilton of Puget Sound. If you're just joining us online, Gatekeepers in white, Puget Sound in blue. We're on the Derby Laces Track 1 here at Brouhaha 2015.
A little bit of jockeying for position in the back here. Real tight scrum start.
Yep, Scott Slamilton squeaks through, but then he's met by Wrecking Bill, the Saint, and Bled Zeppelin, and that allows Shane Bauer time to get free on the outside. He's going to be your lead jammer.
Scott Slamilton's able to clear the pack. He has now completed his initial pass and is also scoring eligible.
Shane Bauer takes a bit of a tumble, and he's going to call that jam off, and he does call it in time, so no points there for Puget. 2 more for St. Louis.
So that might have been a small jam for St. Louis, but it was an important jam in that they were able to get lead, not go to the penalty box, score, and call it off, which we haven't seen St. Louis be able to do in a couple of minutes of gameplay.
You said it best, not go to the penalty box, which has been a recurring theme here today for the St. Louis Jammers.
That is Quadzilla. He is jamming against
Corey Porter out there. Quadzilla is going to be your lead jammer here for Puget. Corey Porter also completes his initial pass.
That was a really nice hit by 24K Nugget on the outside. He's able to recycle that jammer. Quadzilla picks up 3 points and calls off the jam.
Yeah, an unfortunate call off there by Quadzilla as Corey Porter was just being cycled all the way to the back of the pack.
You know, I don't know if he couldn't see the hit or if he didn't, you know, if he started calling it off before it happened, but
probably what happened was he came through the pack, did not see Corey Porter, and just figured he was on his way around the track, so called it off. Unfortunate call up there for Puget Sound and potentially points left off the board there for the Outcasts. Screech around back out there now for St. Louis. He's going up against, that's corporal punishment. Now looks like Spin Diesel's being sent off for a clockwise block. Screech around is going to be your lead jammer for St. Louis. Meanwhile, corporal punishment just about gets free, and then Wrecking Bill sends him out.
A great tumble salt there on the outside. Quite style in getting up.
Monster jam on his way to the penalty box for St. Louis. So the penalty box starting to fill up, and now we've got ourselves a star pass As that is passed to 2468 of Puget Sound. That's Dylan Botts. And the jam is called off.
That's just 2 points for St. Louis Gatekeepers, 0 points for Puget Sound. Of the last 10 jams, Puget has had 5 of the leads, so they're 50-50 for lead jam right now, which is a definite difference from the first half of this half.
Yeah, you say just 2 points, but the way things have gone the last 10 minutes or so, 2 points could be a big deal. And now it looks like we're going to see Magnum PIMP back out on the jammer line for the first time in a while after picking up 4 jammer penalties early in this game. They kind of sat him and rested him. Hopefully he's cleared his head.
He is jamming against Scott Slamilton, who's been in the box twice so far this game.
Very unusual to see Magnum PIMP this penalty heavy.
This is an official timeout right now. Turnaround Skates is your source for roller derby skates, protective gear, and apparel. They are the official skate tech of this tournament. Check them out online. They have reversible black and white scrimmage shirts for $25, which includes your name and number. Also, they have bruised skate noose and Sakatumi socks.
The Field 59 video platform powered the live streaming technology behind the 2014 Roller Derby World Cup in Dallas and now powers the live stream for the 2015 Midwest Brouhaha. Power jam your derby bouts with Field 59's video solutions.
And don't forget, if you're watching at home or on the road or with all of your friends, to take a picture, post it on Facebook or on Twitter or on Instagram, tag it with Brouhaha 2015. It's the hashtag for this event. I'd love to see you having fun watching some derby.
Hey, and we're not picky. CompuServe, AOL, MySpace, we don't care. Tag it.
Can you tag things on CompuServe?
I don't know. I don't use CompuServe even around anymore.
I don't think so. This is a nice small pack. It's 2-on-2. Jamming Scott Slamilton against Magnum PIMP.
So couple skate out there defensively, as October Revolution mentioned, a full penalty box. Spin Diesel returns the play for St. Louis. Chuck Hendrick returning for Puget, so 3-on-3 now. Monster Jam now returning to play as the jam comes to an end there. Jam called by Magnum PIMP, but not before he picks up 4 points.
Slowly but surely, the St. Louis Gatekeepers have been taking back that 14-point jam we saw Puget put up earlier, trying to increase their lead. It's about 4 minutes left in this half. It is 39 for Puget Sound, 78 for St. Louis.
So it's going to be Shane Bauer out there jamming for St. Louis. He is your lead jammer. There's Corporal Punishment out there for Puget Sound. Wrecking Bill forces him out. That's going to cycle him back. Kyle Stark back there ready to meet him. Does another job on him. Meanwhile, Shane Bauer with a nice move, and that is going to be a Rydell grand slam. So St. Louis starting to get its groove back. Meanwhile, we have ourselves a star pass. And that jam is being called off. 5 more points. So 10 points there for Shane Bauer on that jam.
Yeah, that was a great jam. Both jammers showing, some smart moves there. The Puget Sound jammer throwing himself to the ground to avoid a cut penalty, passing off the panty as soon as lead was no longer available. Showing that they're trying to both avoid those penalties they've been picking up and also make good strategic decisions. That is Corey Porter jamming for the Gatekeepers and Hollywood for Puget Sound.
Hollywood is your lead jammer. Corey Porter, wow, Corey Porter walking a tightrope. Somehow he stays in bounds. Meanwhile, Unquotable Hulk forces Chuck Hendrick back, and that's going to force Chuck to call that jam off. So a great play, and 1 point for each. Sorry, it looks like 2 points because there was a player in the penalty box for Puget Sound. So St. Louis getting the better of that jam after all, thanks to the penalty.
Yeah, that was Some great blocking by Puget Sound, but Corey Porter just would not budge. It was like he was glued to the floor. It didn't matter how many blockers hit him. He was not going out of bounds.
So it's handrail against Michael Jensen.
That's handrail pushing against the front. There's a bridge there by Puget Sound. He's able to get around. He's the lead jammer for the GateKeepers.
Oh. Well, now, track cut on Puget Sound. So now we're going to have a Sakatumi power jam for handrail.
After a while where we had both jammers for a while, now we have a power jam. That is a Rydell Grand Slam for handrail and St. Louis GateKeepers.
Clockwise block called on Wrecking Bill. Meanwhile, an apex jump with a little pirouette at the end for handrail, picks up 5 and then calls that jam off.
I wish we had replays so we could look at that again. That was
was pretty.
That looked like a scene out of what's that movie, The Cutting Edge, where he just jumped. He's like he was learning how to do a triple axel.
Yeah,
at the very beginning.
I think Thunderstruck was out there trying to say that he touched out of bounds, and the ref was like, no, he pirouetted on his toe stop.
Yeah, it was a beautiful spin jump.
This is me screech around out there now against Corporal Punishment. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, that's Scott Slamilton, my bad. And, screech around almost gets out, but he's just forced to the outside, or sorry, to the inside. He's going to have to recycle. Hendricks back there waiting for him. Meanwhile, Scott Slamilton up front working against Percy Control and the Saint, and screech around finds a lane. He's going to be your lead jammer. Big hit by Chuck Hendrick on Percy Control, and Percy Control being sent off for a forearm penalty.
This is the 5th jam in a row that the GateKeepers have had lead.
And now we've got ourselves a Sakatumi power jam with Scott Slamilton being sent off for blocking with the head. So a lot of jammer penalties we're seeing here in this game. Hendrick forces Screech around out, but he's getting a direction of gameplay call. And Screech around is just going to call that jam off. And that, wow.
We're going into halftime with the Puget Sound at 40, the GateKeepers at 105. The GateKeepers are in the lead. Looks like they're going to be starting the half with a power jam. So, I don't know, what do you think of this half so far?
Oh, man, I'll tell you what. This game has had a little bit of everything. I mean, we have had, well, first of all, we had jammer penalties galore. Big hits, changes in momentum. And while Puget Sound has not really been able to gain the lead, they have gained some momentum and really gotten close at times. But then the GateKeepers, they put that pedal down, and they've just widened that lead out. And as we see now, 65 points here going into the half.
Yeah, and I think that, both teams are not only playing themselves, but they're not only playing each other, but playing themselves in this jammer penalty situation. You can't score if you're not on the track. So I think they're both going to go back to the locker room and have a discussion on how not only to adjust to each other's gameplay, but also how to adjust to the refs and keep their skates inside the track boundaries.
Well, I can tell you what, the history these two teams have had, they've always been really physical, knockdown, drag-out fights. There is definitely a strong mental aspect to this game that if these guys don't keep their heads clean, things can get out of control, and that's when you start seeing the penalties roll in, and that can really adversely affect the game.
I was talking to Puget Sound before the game. They always sing the national anthem before they start, and they say they do that to clear their heads and get together. And I think, I'm not sure what they do at halftime, but both teams are probably going to take a moment to try and clear their heads and get together as a unit.
Well, all right, we're going to have a short halftime here, about 8 minutes left, and then we'll be back for second half action.
Yeah, so go to the bathroom and get yourself a drink. We'll see you in about 8 minutes. Welcome back to Derby Laces Track 1 at 2015 Midwest Brouhaha. We are watching the St. Louis Gatekeepers play the Puget Sound Outcast right now. I'm October Revolution.
And I'm Star Spangled Hammer.
And we're bringing this game to you. So what happened in the first half so far?
Well, as usual, when Puget Sound and St. Louis get together, it's a slobber knocker. No better way to put it. Right now, Gatekeepers up by 65, but you would not think that. If you couldn't see the score, you would think this was a much closer game, as these two teams have just been beating the mess out of each other for 30 minutes. And I'll tell you what, I expect no less here in the second half. If anything, it might be more intense.
I think definitely as the clock starts to tick down, we're going to get, people are going to be very, very intently in the game, very much wanting, the clock becomes an enemy in the second half. You only have those 30 minutes as they tick down, so it'll just become a stronger competition between the two teams as we get towards the end of the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do have some penalty issues to talk about here. As Wrecking Bill, Magnum PIMP, and Spin Diesel all sitting at 4 for the Gatekeepers. For Puget Sound, Hollywood and Michael Jensen sitting at 5 each. So we're looking at, we still got 30 minutes to go, and we've already got guys that are sitting on the cusp of being either benched or removed from the game.
Yes, and both Hollywood and Michael Jensen, who are at 5, have been jamming for Puget Sound, which explains some of the jammer penalty problems we've been having. So, they stand to maybe lose a jammer or two.
Mm-hmm. And as we remember, if you were with us here as the first half ended, Scott Slamilton sits in the penalty box right now for Puget Sound, so the Gatekeepers will begin this second half unopposed on the jammer line. So we'll see a power jam here, and it looks like they're going to put Magnum PIMP out there first thing to start the second half.
Yeah, Magnum PIMP has stayed out of the penalty box, for the second half of the first half, although he had a little bit of penalty trouble in the beginning of the game, picking up 4 penalties as the jammer. He seems to have adjusted and is solid and not doing that anymore.
So we're going to have a couple skate as the penalty box is full.
Yes, that is. It looks like we have a mini pack and we have 1 jammer, so there's 5 players on the truck. There's more refs than players right now.
Yeah, so for Puget Sound, we've got D-Bets and D-Bots and Quadzilla LK for Puget Sound out there blocking. For St. Louis, it's going to be Bled Zeppelin and the Saint, as we said, Magnum PIMP on a Sakatumi Power Jam.
So we also just want to take a second to thank Hinkley Productions for this feed, so thank you, Hinkley.
Mm-hmm. So Magnum PIMP quickly out to lead jam. Already coming around for his first scoring pass. Puget Sound has gained one of their blockers back, so 3 on 2. Now Mercy Control re-enters play. Scott Slamilton comes back on, so the power jam at an end. Magnum PIMP doing a nice job staying inside the line as Quadzilla tried to force him out. So that's going to be 5 points. Grand slam here to start the second half for the Gatekeepers.
And they are continuing their momentum so far. They haven't let the halftime break it for them, although the power jam did help. That was a big hit on Scott Slamilton at the front of the pack.
So a big hit by Hollywood Hendrick. And I saw low block be in motion, and it looks like the Saint is the one that's going off for the low block.
That'll give Puget Sound a 4-3 pack advantage for this jam.
Thinking that must have happened away from the end of that play, as I didn't see it on my screen. So it's going to be Shane Bauer now against Thunderstruck.
Thunderstruck out there for Puget Sound.
We've got a spread out pack here, but both teams are making a tripod of doom, as I like to call them. They're much more agile than the walls of the past.
Well, you know what? That's really the skating skill of all these teams is really elevated. It used to be the men's game was just a bunch of guys out there trying to lay big hits on each other, but now they've become a much more strategic game. Shane Bauer, your lead jammer. Thunderstruck now free of the pack. Shane Bauer trying to get that 4th point. Does he get it? Nope, just 3. Then he calls that jam off.
It's all Derby that has really, changed over the last few years and created these more agile, free-moving walls that are able to hold those jammers back and back and back and, force them to be more agile, up on their toe stops more, dancing around. You're seeing a lot more of those spins, more apex jumps. So we are back in the action. Jamming right now is Corey Porter for the Gatekeepers against Corporal Punishment for Puget Sound.
Yeah, you've got to wonder if with Hollywood sitting at 5, if we're probably not going to see him jam again here today.
Yeah, if he just chains 2 penalties together, is a chance that Puget Sound would have a jammerless jam, which they don't want.
So Quadzilla has the star pass.
You can't see him. He's putting this helmet cover on just off screen.
So Corey Porter calls that jam off as he's well aware of the pass and the change in jammer position.
Lining up on the line now, we've got Screech Around and Scott Slamilton.
Not sure if you can really see it online, but Screech Around looks like he's wearing Google Glass right now with the repair attempt that was done on his glasses early in the game. His glasses got destroyed.
Yeah, I can't imagine that it's easy for him to see with the amount of duct tape or masking tape or something holding that lens in his glasses for him.
Yeah, peripheral vision may be an issue right now. Oh, wow, Corporal Punishment. Sorry, Scott Slamilton finds a line on the inside, and he's going to be your lead jammer. Oh, big
Spins around,
hit.
takes a big hit. He gets up, he's able to finish his initial pass. He's coming back around. Scott Slamilton sees that, calls off the jam. He picked up 2 points before he did, so they're 2 points closer to the Gatekeepers score. It is 42 for Puget Sound, 120 for the Gatekeepers.
First points Puget has put on the board here in the second half.
Okay, the Gatekeepers coach is on the track now. He's giving them a little bit of pep talk. It's a 3-on-3 pack. Both jammers on the track.
Pink, a former travel team player himself, knows the game very well.
We've got 2 walls, but the Gatekeepers are in the front. Big recycle for Puget.
Handrail finds a line on the inside, gets by Ryrod, and he's your lead jammer. I'll tell you what, Handrail's having kind of a coming out party here at Spring Rolls. He had a great day yesterday, and he's putting up some nice points on the board here for St. Louis in day 2.
Yeah, he was really able to get a running start and jump that apex, get up on his toe stops, and get around that braced wall. He picks up 5 points. It's a Rydell grand slam.
So nice cycling from St. Louis as they get back up. There's Quadzilla. Thought he had some daylight, but then Monster Jam, Led Zeppelin, and Wrecking Bill sitting there waiting for him. Nice little apex jump there by Handrail. 5 more points, a Rydell grand slam for St. Louis. And here we see St. Louis again in what is essentially an even strength situation, putting some decent points on the board.
You know, Quadzilla is a fantastic jammer. He's got really good agility and footwork, and these St. Louis blockers have just been able to completely shut him down in this jam. That's Handrail out again with another 5 points. Quadzilla is recycled once more.
Right now, the St. Louis defense not giving Quadzilla any room to work. Quadzilla has taken the panty off, so he's either looking to pass it or he's just going to try to sneak through. He was looking for the pass. The pass has been made.
There's a pivot panty is tossed onto the inside.
Not sure what's going on with that, but oh, that was the pivot panty that he threw to the inside.
That was a 19-point jam for Handrail. He was just skating laps.
It did seem that way. It didn't look like it was taking much effort for him to do that. That was some really nice vision on the part of Handrail and some nice blocking there by St. Louis to make it look so easy.
Jammer switch up for Puget Sound. They have Thunderstruck on the line. We have not seen him jam yet today. He is jamming against Magnum PIMP. We have seen him jam today.
Magnum, I think, was looking for a back block. Didn't get it. Meanwhile, that's Thunderstruck as your lead jammer, so Puget Sound an opportunity to put some points on the board.
Thunderstruck is back in the pack now. He sees Magnum PIMP on his tail. He calls it off, but he does not pick up any points before he does so. That is a 0-0 jam. So Puget was able to get lead jam, but they weren't able to convert it.
So an opportunity lost there for Puget Sound.
Okay, we're lined up again. It's going to be Scott Slamilton for Puget Sound. He's going to be jamming against Shane Bauer for the Gatekeepers.
And now looks like we're going to have an official timeout.
It does.
Official timeout. I see they're looking up at the scoreboard, so there might be either a time issue or a scoring issue that they want to discuss.
We'll give them a moment to figure that out. If you love roller derby, don't forget that the 2015 International WFTDA playoffs are fast approaching. You can watch the best teams in the world compete for the glory of the Hydra. Mark your calendars. Brackets and teams will be announced July 15th at WFTDA.com. So if you love both men's derby and women's derby, you can watch them all on the interwebs.
So I do think we're right. I think there's an issue with the clock. I think they wanted some time added back to the clock. Yep, that's the case. Looks like about 6 to 8 seconds put back on the clock. 22:02 here. In the second half, St. Louis leads 139, Puget Sound 42.
Yep,
So
that's a confirmation. They were adding time back on the clock. In case you don't know, the jam timer keeps the official time of the game. The scoreboard just reflects that, so they want to make sure that it's accurate.
Yep, much like soccer in that respect.
And so they adjusted it, put the time back on, and we're ready to go.
So Shane Bauer, your lead jammer, as he quickly gets free.
That is Scott Slamilton, who is still stuck in the pack, looking for a little help from his friends. That indomitable St. Louis Gatekeepers wall up in the front, holding him up.
Shane Bauer finds a line on the outside, 5 points, grand slam.
That is the pivot from the Gatekeepers head to the box, spin diesel.
Shane Bauer on his second scoring pass. Scott Slamilton still trying to complete his initial pass. Does get by Quadzilla, Blood Zeppelin and Kyle Stark. Sorry, Nate Bauer. That's Nate Bauer out there. I haven't seen him out there yet today.
So the pivot for the Gatekeepers spin diesel, he is at 6 penalties. So he's sitting in the box right now. If he were to get one more, he were to foul out of the game. So he's the first skater to reach that 6 penalty mark. And that is something that the Gatekeepers, I'm sure, are keeping an eye on. You can see in the far back of your screen, that is Nugget jamming for Puget Sound. And that is Corey Porter for Gatekeepers.
And I think we're going to get a back block call on the jammer.
Yeah, that is Nugget headed to the penalty box for back block.
Wanted to get a running start at the pack, and that burned him on that one as he gets the back block call. Meanwhile, Corey Porter is going to be your lead jammer.
That is Nugget's first penalty of the day. Unfortunately, it happened with the star on his head.
So an opportunity here on the Sakatumi Power Jam. Corey Porter with a Rydell grand slam.
And Nugget returns from the Potawatomi Hotel and Casino penalty box.
Meanwhile, Saint heads there for St. Louis. So a 4-on-3 pack advantage now for Puget Sound.
That is Saint's 5th penalty. So as we approach halfway through the second half, more people are getting into some penalty trouble.
I think Corey Porter's just running some time off the clock, trying to kill that penalty as much as he could.
Corey Porter picked up 8 points in that jam, able to hold Puget Sound to 0. Score with 19 minutes and 20 seconds left in the game is 42 for Puget Sound, 155 for the St. Louis Gatekeepers.
The 2015 International WIFTA playoffs are fast approaching. Watch the best teams in the world compete for the glory of the Hydra. Mark your calendars. Brackets and teams will be announced July 15th at WFTDA.com.
Don't forget, all these Grand Slams have been brought to you by Rydell Skates with unmatched quality and unmatched performance.
So a 5-point Rydell Grand Slam here for Corporal Punishment in Puget Sound, as they have lead jammer. A very spread out and fast pack here we're seeing. Screech around with a whip there. And that's going to force the call off on the jam. 3 more points, so I believe 8 points there on that jam for Puget Sound.
Yeah, that's the first time we've seen them score in a while, and definitely, I think the last time they scored, they only picked up 2 points, so this 8 points for Puget Sound brings them up to 50 and is a much needed, Yeah,
18 minutes here and left in the second half. Puget Sound has only managed 10 points so far in 12 minutes. The Gatekeepers defense doing a really nice job stymieing the offense of Puget Sound.
Yeah, these walls by the Gatekeepers have been almost immovable by the Puget Sound jammers. You can see here, that is Michael Jensen pushing as hard as he can against them, and they're not moving much at all. Big hits on handrail by Hollywood. Another big hit, recycles handrail to the back of the pack. Again, knocked out, recycled to the back. Both jammers taking another run at this stretched out pack.
Well, I'll tell you what's been big for St. Louis is even in situations where they've been down blockers, they've been able to contain the offensive attack of Puget Sound. Normally that's an issue that's been a real problem for the Gatekeepers, is once they lose a blocker or two, they tend to get in trouble. Not the case here today.
No, handrail picked up lead jammer, but Michael Jensen wasn't far behind him. He jumped into the pack, tries to pick up a few points. It appears he picks up 3 and then calls off the jam, holding Puget 2-0. This has been a hard game for Puget Sound. They just haven't been able to find their stride. And again, like you were saying, there's walls. They're really staying together and holding back these jammers. And they're doing a very good job of just knocking them out, skating back, knocking them out, skating back. And when those jammers are repeatedly skating in circles like that, they get tired, but also they're not going very far.
So Magnum PIMP on the jammer line now. Corporal Punishment for Puget Sound. Hollywood Chuck Hendrick coming out of the box. He has picked up his 6th penalty, so 1 more and he will be removed from the game.
Magnum PIMP is lead. He is currently in the track. Spins through the pack, picks up 4 points, calls off the jam.
I think you'll see a lot of situations now where the Gatekeepers are just going to hit the pack, grab some points, call it off, as they're going to try to start running this clock off. As you know, every time that whistle blows, 30 more seconds is going to come rattling off that clock.
Yes, and every time your jammer is not playing, they are not at risk for a penalty. And so you don't have to worry about giving up those big jams to your opponent. I mean, not only are you trying to manage the clock, but you want to make sure that you don't allow any large opportunities for your opponent when you have a lead like this.
Yeah, this has been an interesting game. Oh, Shane Bauer almost keeps it in. The pirouette, but does go out to the inside. And that's going to give Scott Slamilton the opportunity to get lead jammer for Puget Sound. So an opportunity here for them to score some points.
Scott Slamilton is on his scoring pass. He's in the pack. Number 7, Little Timmy, sitting on the box. That is his 3rd penalty today.
So Shane Bauer has completed his initial pass. He's coming around, and that's going to force Scott Slamilton to call that jam off. Let's see if he got any points. 2 points.
He was able to pick up 2 points, and the score now with about just under 15 minutes left in this half is 52 for Puget Sound and 162 for St. Louis.
Just been notified that the Gatekeepers have twice as many lead jams now this game as Puget has had.
You can see that reflected in the score. It's a 110-point difference. I mean, it's not a runaway by any means, but it's not a close game either.
Just to kind of drive the point home how important lead jammer is. You're able to dictate the flow of the game, and it's really hard to score non-lead jam points.
Yes, your opponent really needs to make a mistake for you to score when you're not the lead jammer, or go to the penalty box, make a mistake.
Yeah, when you're talking about 2 top 10 teams in the country, you're not going to see a whole lot of mistakes of that caliber.
No, they both have the jammer awareness and track awareness to know when to call off a jam. That is another Rydell Grand Slam for the Gatekeepers.
So Corey Porter going to work against Chuck Hendrick. Chuck Hendrick's going to have to watch things real carefully as he is sitting on 6. Corey Porter waiting for Monster Jam to come up and give him some offensive help. Hendrick comes in and cleans him out.
Rod is going to has the jammer panty in his hand. Looks like he's handed it off to the pivot, who is Nugget.
Now Led Zeppelin goes to work. Corey Porter still trying to get through, score some more points. He gets forced out there. Man, real physical play here by both squads. And there's Chuck Hendrick headed to the penalty box. That is going to be his 7th.
Well, 7 penalties means you fouled out of the game, so when he sits down, the head ref will most likely escort him from the play area.
So Nugget trying to get past Led Zeppelin, the last line of defense. He does stay in. Nice work there by Nugget. So now Corey Porter looking to finish this pass. He does and calls it off. So no points. No points there for Puget Sound. 5 more for St. Louis. So St. Louis really starting to stretch this lead now with only 12 minutes to go. St. Louis 177, Puget Sound 52.
Oh, we have some hugging on the jam line. That is Scott Slamilton and Screech Around having a moment.
Derby love.
This has been a hard game. I'm sure everybody's just a little bit emotional.
Oh, yeah.
That's Screech Around out the front. Apparently you don't need your full vision to be a lead jammer.
Maybe we should have had an obstetrician. Wait, not obstetrician.
No,
optometrist.
No. Definitely don't want an obstetrician look at your eyes.
No, that would be bad.
Yes. Hopefully nobody playing Derby needs an obstetrician. They deal with babies.
So Scott Slamilton picks up 3 points there at the end of that jam as he squeaks in as the jam was called.
3-3. Even jam. We got 11 minutes left in this game. It's 55 for Puget Sound, 180 for St. Louis.
So corporal punishment now out there for Puget Sound going up against Handrail for St. Louis. Handrail has done a really nice job here. He's put up 34 points so far today. Only player with more on St. Louis has been Debaucherous Prime. However, Puget Sound's going to have lead jammer here.
Corporal punishment really puts the gas on. You can't see it. It's off the screen, but he is screaming around the track. Headed back. There he is in your frame.
And now we're going to have ourselves a Sock-It-To-Me power jam as Handrail getting sent off for the track cut. Corporal punishment calls the jam off.
I'm not sure if he knew that that was... You know, I think, again, like you said, he looked up, didn't see the jammer, called off the jam. Maybe he wasn't aware that there was a power jam coming.
So 2 points there for Puget.
So we are 15 games into this half so far. Puget has had lead 5 times. The Gatekeeper have had leads 10 times. So, again, double. That's Quadzilla taking on this power jam. He's had some trouble against these Gatekeeper walls so far this game.
To be perfectly honest, every jammer for Puget Sound has not had an easy time with these strong walls of St. Louis. And now the Saint able to force Quadzilla out, making him cycle all the way back.
Sometimes the biggest hits aren't the most visually stunning. That was a big win for the Saint. Just nudging Quadzilla out, but recycling him all the way back. And now he has to fight back there with scrum start again. Doesn't make it. And the Gatekeeper's handrail gets lead jammer on this jam. And now it's going to be a Sakatumi power jam. Quadzilla
Wow.
gets called on a cut, is headed to the Potawatomi Hotel and Casino penalty box.
What a turn of events here for St. Louis. Handrail comes out of the penalty box, grabs lead jam, and then Quadzilla heads to the penalty box.
That's Ryrod, Little Timmy, and Michael Jensen trying to slow handrail down up in the front. They are most successful right now. Now it's a big knockout. Handrail's going to call off the jam rather than recycle again.
It's a big jam there for handrail.
Quadzilla is still in the Potawatomi Hotel and Casino penalty box. In case you ever are in Milwaukee, you should play, stay, and get lucky at Milwaukee's #1 entertainment destination. That's Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. I promise it's more fun than sitting in the penalty box.
So Magnum PIMP is going to start this jam unopposed. So Sakatumi power jam here for St. Louis. Magnum pushing and pushing and pushing. That's Thunderstruck up there up front. And Magnum PIMP is your lead jammer. Quadzilla back on the track as the power jam comes to an end. Oh, Magnum PIMP takes a huge lick and then gets hit again. He's going to call that jam off. Only picked up 1 point there, but you know what? At this point in the game, the Gatekeepers are perfectly content as 30 more seconds is going to come off that clock.
I agree, you know. They do want to keep scoring points, of course, because, you know, rankings are always based on differential as well as just plain up wins and losses, but you don't want to risk penalties or anything of the sort when you know, that would eat away at your lead more when you can just run the clock down in these 30 seconds between jams.
Well, most importantly, you want to get out of here healthy. And in a big physical game like this, you just never know.
Especially both teams have 1 game left on the weekend, so they certainly want to stay as healthy as they possibly can. Well, they always do, but tournament weekend is usually a much more demanding.
Yep, both of these teams do still have 1 more game to play tomorrow.
That is Corporal Punishment. He's lead jammer for Puget Sound. Shane Bauer is on the track for the Gatekeepers. That was 2 for Puget Sound, 1 for the Gatekeepers on that jam. On the track right now for Puget Sound, that's Quadzilla. For the Gatekeepers, that's Corey Porter.
4-on-3 pack advantage in favor of Puget Sound as Percy Control sits in the penalty box at the moment. And now we're going to have a little fun here to run clock out.
Looks like Corey Porter was on his -1 pass.
Yeah, he tried. Didn't quite work out.
Yeah, but all it really did was burn off
But
3 seconds.
it did burn off some time.
It's about 23 seconds he burned off the clock, which is what he's looking to do. That was a huge apex jump by Quadzilla. He would have cleared my head. I'm 5 foot tall. That was humongous jump, and he lands it. Clean and completely inbounds.
Quadzilla, your lead jammer.
Yeah, those are the kind of moves we're used to seeing from Quadzilla. You know, the Gatekeepers had kept him shut down most of the game. It was fantastic to watch him do it right there. There's another one. Big jump on the apex. That's 5 points. That's a Rydell grand slam for Quadzilla.
Now some nice defensive work here by the Gatekeepers.
This is the first time in the second half that Puget has gotten lead twice in a row. This is a big jam for them and for Quadzilla. Oh, how the tides turn, though. He just picked up a cut right there on the inside. He just tapped out of bounds, didn't get back far enough. Headed to the Potawatomi penalty box.
So now a Sakatumi power jam for St. Louis. Corey Porter still out there. He's not lead jam, so this jam will now go the full 2 minutes. not that there's a whole lot of time left in this jam, only 4 seconds.
Corey Porter's been knocked around this entire jam. He's really struggling to fight, and luckily he's saved by the clock.
I'll tell you what, it seems like every game Corey Porter just takes a beating.
Yeah, he really held up against that, though. That was some of the best 2 minutes of roller derby we've seen in this game, if not in the weekend. It was some fantastic moves by Puget and by Quadzilla. They were able to get in sync for the first time in the second half, I think, and both the blockers and the jammer worked together and put some points on the board.
So Screech Around starts on the notorious RED jammer line all by himself. He is on the Sakatumi Power Jam, and he quickly grabs lead jammer, so more time was going to run off the clock here. Final minutes here of this bout between St. Louis and Puget Sound.
Screech Around hits that Puget wall. Reinvigorated after that last jam there. Trying to knock him out, but he is holding on strong.
Crack cut call there on Screech Around.
Must have tapped outside with his wheels. I didn't see it, but the ref did. And this is a Sakatumi Power Jam for Quadzilla. Quadzilla approaching this pack from the back. Trying to get a little room to work, a little room to get around. The Gatekeepers don't want him to have the ability. Tries to dangle on the edge, gets knocked out and recycled.
Meanwhile, the Sakatumi Power Jam comes to an end as Screech Around re-enters play, has completed his initial pass. And now we're going to see a star pass. That's Dylan Botts, who has taken the star. Oh, sorry, that is not Dylan Botts. That is Michael Jensen.
That star pass means we don't have a lead. This will be a 2-minute jam.
Another 2-minute jam, and this really favors St. Louis, as more time will come off that clock.
There is 1:30 left in on the period clock. About 3 seconds left on the jam clock. Score right now is 6-6 for Puget Sound, 200 for St. Louis.
So now what may very well be the last jam of the game about to begin here, as it doesn't look like either team's going to call a timeout.
That last jam, St. Louis picked up 6 points. Puget Sound put up 2. Looks like there's a bit of a score correction by the jam ref. Yep, there was 5, then 2. That's 7 points for the Gatekeepers that jam.
So we're back in action. It's handrail on the line. And I can't see it. Scott Slamilton out there for Puget.
Hanrail fighting through the pack, trying to get past Puget Sound. Finding a line on the outside. Pushing gets a little help from a teammate. Gets through is lead jammer.
So lead jammer for the Gatekeepers. Handrail likely to run this clock out and then call it.
Spin around by Scott Slamilton. He's able to complete his initial pass, get out of the pack. We've got just about 19 seconds left on the period clock, but remember, we won't end until the end of the jam clock.
Nope.
Handrail calls off the jam. His bench none too pleased about it.
Yeah, I think Handrail wasn't aware of how much time was left on the clock, and now Puget's going to call a timeout here, so we're going to have one more jam.
And just a reminder that the Gatekeepers have Spin Diesel at 6 penalties. The Saint at 5. Wrecking Bill at 5. But there's only one jam left, so.
Quadzilla doing some pirouettes there on the jammer line. He and Magnum.
They've been playing against each other for a long time.
They have, and also teammates on Team USA, the two of them. So know each other very well, mutual respect there between the two guys. So it's only fitting that these two will take the jam line for the final jam between these two teams.
It looks like they're ready to have a little bit of fun. Putting their game face on.
Oh, yeah, as soon as that whistle blows, they're not going to be hugging anymore.
No.
They may be all smiles now, but as soon as that whistle blows, they're going to be going at it.
That is the Puget Sound bench. They're locked arms for the end of this.
Yep, that is legal when you're off the track.
Magnum PI fighting against the Puget line. He gets up, given lead jammer.
So clock has run out. Magnum PIMP or lead jammer.
Quadzilla picked up a track cut.
Oh,
Just kind of stood there for a second.
not the ending that Puget Sound wanted to have here. Magnum PIMP. Clock has run out. I'm not sure why the bench has him running more laps.
Looks like the people on the bench are like, run it, run it.
I guess they're figuring Puget Sound wanted one more jam by calling that timeout. So oh, and now, see, this is why you call the jam.
Well, we're going to have a 2-minute jam.
I mean, ultimately, it's not going to have a whole lot of effect on the score, but that is why you call the jam. As Magnum PIMP high fives the Puget Sound bench as he skates to the penalty box.
Magnum PMP sat down that release Quadzilla. He's got about 53 seconds to do some damage here.
So an interesting end to what has been an interesting game. Expect no less.
Oh, now that was beautiful. I'm not sure if he was on his toe stop or on just one wheel, but he spun around that blocker, got through. Remember, Magnum PIMP only sits for as long as Quadzilla sits, so he has been released. He's back in the pack.
And I think they're going to get another track cut on Quadzilla. Saint with the Shadow Crush. So, wow.
Really? I think he's saying, really?
This jam has been just a mess. Oh, boy.
Oh, they're making him go around again. He's past the point of no return. He's got to take a lap before he can.
Whoa. Well, I'll tell you what, the fans absolutely got their money's worth on this one. This one was a wild one here.
That was a fun last jam, a wild last jam. Teams seemed like they enjoyed it, I think. The unofficial final score right now is 66 for Puget Sound and 222 for St. Louis Gatekeepers. We'll just wait a couple seconds, see if the refs finalize it.
So tomorrow we've got Gatekeepers are going to take on Texas at 10:45 on Skate Laces Track 2. And then to end the weekend for Puget Sound, they have Twin City Terrors at 6:30 p.m. on Skate Laces Track 1. So still some interesting games left for these two. I know a lot of people are going to be looking forward to that St. Louis, Texas matchup, as it was a fun one at Spring Roll just a few weeks ago.
And both teams have really been playing hard. I think both teams were undefeated this weekend so far. So, you know, they both can't leave undefeated if they're playing each other. Next on this track is going to be the North Star Roller Girls versus the Ann Arbor Derby Dimes. And right here on Derby Laces track number 1. So don't go far. You got about 20 minutes before Derby resumes on this track. Or you can toggle on over to the other track where the Minnesota Roller Girls are currently leading the Ohio Roller Girls 93-82 in the first period. I'm October Revolution. You have a wonderful afternoon.
Hi everybody, this is Zach here from Rydell Skates, and we're here to talk to you today about an exciting new product we have. This is our R-Fit footbed kit. It's designed to help alleviate pain and reduce some soreness that people commonly get while skating. First, let's talk about the R-Fit footbed itself. It's a high-density foam with a soft top cover on it. It allows for a lot more cushion and support for a safer and more effective skating session. On the back side, there's Velcro components that allow you to attach adjustable arch supports and heel wedges to it, which is really where all the customization comes in. Installed in the footbed is a blue arch support, which is neutral. There's also a red arch support, which is for high arches, and an orange arch support, which is for low arches. Installation and swapping them out is really simple. All you need to do is just peel the Velcro off and then install the new insert. The heel is another area of customization. You can use the included purple heel lift to elevate the heel in the boot, which can reduce heel slippage, irritation, or shin splints. Or you can use the included green heel wedge. It's angled, so depending on the way you install it, it can help correct pronation or supination issues. This metatarsal pad can be installed on the top side of the footbed to help reduce numbness in the toe and ball area of the foot. Getting the proper fit is really simple. What you'll need to do is take your existing insole out of your skates. Then all you need to do is line the two up on top of each other and trace and trim to fit. The R-Fit footbed kit is available now at any of our authorized retailers. And for more information, you can always visit our website at www.roller.rydellskates.com.
Come celebrate summer with the Dairyland Dolls, Saturday, June 20th and Saturday, July 11th at the Hartmeyer Ice Arena. Doors at 5, action at 6. But wait, there's more. The Dairyland Dolls will be shaking things up with a special outdoor exhibition bout on Saturday, June 27th during the Festival Food Shake the Lake celebration at the Monona Terrace. Event opens at 5, derby at 6. Come for derby, stay for fireworks. Find the derby in you. MadRollandDolls.com.
Turnaround Skates is proud to support the 2015 Midwest Brouhaha. We are a Derby-owned roller skate shop in Buffalo, New York. Our focus is providing our customers with innovative and quality skates, parts, and protective gear from all the top manufacturers. Our customers represent a variety of skating styles and backgrounds. Our boutique shopping experience focuses on finding the right skates and gear for you. We also add a bit of style with our fun accessories and clothing. Visit us in Buffalo or online at turnaroundskates.com.
Hi everybody, this is Zach here from Rydell Skates, and we're here to talk to you today about an exciting new product we have. This is our R-Fit footbed kit. It's designed to help alleviate pain and reduce some soreness that people commonly get while skating. First, let's talk about the R-Fit footbed itself. It's a high-density foam with a soft top cover on it. It allows for a lot more cushion and support for a safer and more effective skating session. On the back side, there's Velcro components that allow you to attach adjustable arch supports and heel wedges to it, which is really where all the customization comes in. Installed in the footbed is a blue arch support, which is neutral. There's also a red arch support, which is for high arches, and an orange arch support, which is for low arches. Installation and swapping them out is really simple. All you need to do is just peel the Velcro off and then install the new insert. The heel is another area of customization. You can use the included purple heel lift to elevate the heel in the boot, which can reduce heel slippage, irritation, or shin splints. Or you can use the included green heel wedge. It's angled, so depending on the way you install it, it can help correct pronation or supination issues. This metatarsal pad can be installed on the top side of the footbed to help reduce numbness in the toe and ball area of the foot. Getting the proper fit is really simple. What you'll need to do is take your existing insole out of your skates. Then all you need to do is line the two up on top of each other and trace and trim to fit. The R-Fit footbed kit is available now at any of our authorized retailers. And for more information, you can always visit our website at www.roller.rydellskates.com.
Help celebrate summer with the Dairyland Dolls, Saturday, June 20th and Saturday, July 11th at the Hartmeyer Ice Arena. Doors at 5, action at 6. But wait, there's more. The Dairyland Dolls will be shaking things up with a special outdoor exhibition bout on Saturday, June 27th during the Festival Food Shake the Lake celebration at the Monona Terrace. Event opens at 5, derby at 6. Come for derby, stay for fireworks. Find the derby in you. MadRollandDolls.com.
Turnaround Skates is proud to support the 2015 Midwest Brouhaha. We are a Derby-owned roller skate shop in Buffalo, New York. Our focus is providing our customers with innovative and quality skates, parts, and protective gear from all the top manufacturers. Our customers represent a variety of skating styles and backgrounds. Our boutique shopping experience focuses on finding the right skates and gear for you. We also add a bit of style with our fun accessories and clothing. Visit us in Buffalo or online at turnaroundskates.com.
Hi everybody, this is Zach here from Rydell Skates, and we're here to talk to you today about an exciting new product we have. This is our R-Fit footbed kit. It's designed to help alleviate pain and reduce some soreness that people commonly get while skating. First, let's talk about the R-Fit footbed itself. It's a high-density foam with a soft top cover on it. It allows for a lot more cushion and support for a safer and more effective skating session. On the back side, there's Velcro components that allow you to attach adjustable arch supports and heel wedges to it, which is really where all the customization comes in. Installed in the footbed is a blue arch support, which is neutral. There's also a red arch support, which is for high arches, and an orange arch support, which is for low arches. Installation and swapping them out is really simple. All you need to do is just peel the Velcro off and then install the new insert. The heel is another area of customization. You can use the included purple heel lift to elevate the heel in the boot, which can reduce heel slippage, irritation, or shin splints. Or you can use the included green heel wedge. It's angled, so depending on the way you install it, it can help correct pronation or supination issues. This metatarsal pad can be installed on the top side of the footbed to help reduce numbness in the toe and ball area of the foot. Getting the proper fit is really simple. What you'll need to do is take your existing insole out of your skates. Then all you need to do is line the two up on top of each other and trace and trim to fit. The R-Fit footbed kit is available now at any of our authorized retailers. And for more information, you can always visit our website at www.roller.rydellskates.com.
Come celebrate summer with the Dairyland Dolls, Saturday, June 20th and Saturday, July 11th at the Hartmeyer Ice Arena. Doors at 5, action at 6. But wait, there's more. The Dairyland Dolls will be